Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Jet. Welcome back to an episode of Inside the Lines. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Before we get into it, obviously you can tell I'm wearing this beautiful embroidered Jeff Gordon jacket and this Jeff Gordon shirt as well. This is part of an exclusive drop with Home Field Apparel. They have hooked me up with the full Hendrick Motorsports drop that you can check it out on your screen now. We got, like I said, the jacket, 2 Jeff Gordon shirts. Then we have my boy Jimmie Johnson, 7-time Cup Series champion. He has his own shirt. And of course, the late great Tim Richmond with this beautiful 80s vintage design shirt. They also on top of that have a Hendrick Motorsports shirt, a Jimmie Johnson, Jeff Gordon, and a Folgers hat as well to cap off the Hendrick Motorsports drop. If you guys want to check it out, get this gear yourself. Trust me, I'm telling you, this feels amazing and it looks good. Head out to the description down below. Click the link. It'll take you to the website for the full Hendrick drop, and make sure you get your gear today as soon as possible because this ain't gonna be here forever. I'm telling you. You are going to love this. I mean, come on. How can you not? How can you not want to wear this? I mean, this just looks cool, all right? NASCAR merch, Home Field for their first drop knocked it out of the park. So please click the link in the description down below and get yourself some Hendrick merch. All right, now let's get into the video. Let's first talk about with NASCAR in Mexico. Now, this has been something that's been going on for quite some time. Steve Phelps further talked about this in an interview with Chris Myers during the Daytona 500 on how NASCAR for 2025 wants to go to Mexico and Canada. Where could that be? Well, we may have some insight from the NASCAR Mexico Series Twitter account. Now, when translated, it reads as such, that this afternoon, our director, Jimmy Morales, and the director of the State Entertainment Agency, Esteban Estrada, held a meeting to evaluate the possible arrival of NASCAR Mexico to GDL using the vicinity of this stadium at Akron Stadium in Guadalajara. Now, this was something that I mentioned a little bit ago, as if NASCAR were to go to Mexico, there's a chance that that's where they could take the clash. They held an experiment this year with the Mexico Series, basically as a companion series to the Cup Series that was supposed to be for Saturday and Sunday, ended up being a doubleheader Saturday night event. But they were teasing something like that. If NASCAR wants to grow their Latin audience, going to Mexico and having a companion race with the NASCAR Mexico Series, and hosting the clash, continuing its tradition of holding it at a stadium, would make sense to have it at Akron Stadium. Now, this stadium will be part of the FIFA World Cup in 2026, so that's kind of a nice way to kind of gain publicity for this specific stadium. I've always said that if NASCAR were to move the clash to Mexico, it will be at a stadium. I don't see them doing it at a traditional racetrack like the Autódromo Rodriguez, that track that hosts the Mexican Grand Prix. It will be at a stadium, and Guadalajara, especially this stadium, looks like it could be a strong possibility we could see NASCAR Mexico Series in conjunction with the NASCAR Cup Series race their clash event in that stadium, possibly in 2025. That's just speculation. Now let's talk about the aftermath of NASCAR at Atlanta. I mean, come on, one of the greatest finishes and one of the greatest races I've ever seen as a NASCAR fan in my, 15 years? I've been watching NASCAR since 2009. So yeah, I've been watching for a long time, and that was one of the best races I've ever seen, capped off with a 3-wide finish with Suarez, Busch, and Blaney at the line, and it generated a lot of publicity outside the NASCAR world. NASCAR was trending. You also had other, Sports Center talking about NASCAR. When Sports Center talks about NASCAR, it's big. Other sporting, channel or sporting, I should say, accounts were talking about NASCAR. Specifically, one account that blew up, IcyVert, has around 23,000 or so followers on Twitter, posted a picture of the Cars 3 snapshot and the NASCAR 3-wide finish top to bottom. By the way, that was something that had been thrown around a lot. It got so big that one of my coworkers at Blaze Pizza was even talking about the finish, which was kind of a cool moment. But anyways, back to the story. That picture got trending all over NASCAR Twitter. It got over 100,000 likes. And then all of a sudden, almost every single NASCAR connected Twitter account started following IcyVert. Daytona, I believe Pocono, all of the track Twitter accounts, Xfinity Racing followed him, and even race car drivers like Kyle Busch followed him. Carson Hocevar even sent him a DM saying that the president of NASCAR, I'm assuming Steve Phelps, telling him, hey, come to a race and all this stuff. And it was crazy to see. I mean, someone that knew nothing about NASCAR, never talked about NASCAR, and all of a sudden was getting the royal treatment, was getting the red carpet. Now, this has sparked a lot of controversy. Some hardcore NASCAR fans do not like it, the fact that they have been spending their livelihood promoting the sport, while someone that basically said nothing about NASCAR up until Sunday night posted one tweet and got handed everything. Other people are saying, hey, listen, this is someone from a different world, that wants to get into NASCAR. We shouldn't be gatekeeping the sport. We should be embracing anyone that wants to watch and wants to be part of the NASCAR family. And the other side is also saying that there's a possibility that he could go to one race and never talk about NASCAR again. Now, I understand both sides, but at the same time, I'm kind of thinking, what's the harm in this? I get it. I get it for the fans that have been lifelong NASCAR fans that want, that don't feel like it's fair, that, they've been promoting the sport for years and get nothing while one person posts one photo and gets everything. I get it. I get it. It makes sense that, people are upset. But at the same time, I'm also thinking that, hey, this could lead to something. IcyVert not only is part of a YouTube channel that covers, other sporting topics, he also works the social account for Real Sports, which is an app, pretty self-explanatory, talks about sports, everything like that. And it's one of the top-rated sporting apps, at least on iPhone. It's ranked number 35 in the sports section, which is higher than DraftKings Sportsbook, higher than Fox Sports, higher than NASCAR, among other sporting apps. So the way I look at how this is, when you take a step back and think about the possibilities this could bring in, because IcyVert comes from a different world, a more traditional, general sports world like football, basketball, things like that. Having him being part of NASCAR could influence other people that may not be used to NASCAR, may not be interested in NASCAR, will influence a lot of them to come and look at the sport. Again, I understand the backlash, but I think from a business standpoint with IcyVert, I see no harm in this. I think this is fine. Now, a lot of people I see on Twitter are calling him an industry plant. It's kind of similar to with that lady in that Monday Night Football game with the Chargers. I don't believe in that he was put there by NASCAR, which makes no sense because, yes, he is probably big in the sports world, but he's not he doesn't have 3-4 million followers, or something like that. I just don't understand why NASCAR would pick him as, oh yeah, let's use him as an industry plant to just make him all this, hype him up, give him everything he needs. For what? I just think that it's a cool moment that someone that had a tweet pop up, got trending, over 100,000 likes for a NASCAR finish. Something positive about the sport, not something negative or controversial, and doing what NASCAR does lately, capitalize on it, make a business out of it. And I think that's what they're doing. So I personally have no issue with IcyVert. Again, I get the backlash, but I just think that it's something that we should embrace as NASCAR fans, because if you want to grow the sport, we cannot gatekeep it for anyone. And finally, let's talk about Honda. NASCAR and Honda have always been in talks, rumors, whatever. They've always been together in the same room, but could never connect until now. Now, we have heard the story that Honda is not happy with IndyCar. They're saying that the cost is too high and they're not getting enough in return. And when you have the manager of Honda Motorsports saying this quote, "We're looking for a wholesale change to the engine regulations so that we can eliminate $5s and $10s of millions of dollars of annual technical costs. Because if we don't, then it's too much money and we will go do something else. That something else could be NASCAR or a further investment in our Formula One effort, or something that isn't motorsports at all." For the manager of Honda Motorsports USA to make that statement and specifically name drop NASCAR. We know they're involved with F1, but for them to specifically name drop NASCAR, where they had plenty of other motorsports to name, like NHRA or maybe, IMSA, more sports car racing, the fact that they name drop NASCAR is a very important detail. Another report this couple days ago has come out from one of IndyCar's best known writers, Marshall Pruett, on his podcast a couple days ago, said this about NASCAR and Honda.
Not a surprise that there was a story that came out a couple weeks ago about Honda looking at NASCAR. They've looked at it before. I would say for anybody who's followed the Honda thing a little bit, however many years past, and seen it pop up here, keep following.
For him to say, if you're a Honda fan and you like NASCAR, you're going to be very happy about the future, is very telling. Now we have, trusted journalists that are saying that, hey, there's something here. I'm not confirming that Honda is joining NASCAR, but all I'm saying is that there is a lot of things that are pointing to something good. This is not something that's coming from NASCAR. NASCAR's always said, oh yeah, fourth OEM possibility, but I don't believe in that. Once you hear Adam Stern, Marshall Pruett, once you start hearing and seeing these guys now saying, hey, NASCAR and Honda, pay attention, that is when it's like, okay, now there's something serious going on. The question is, when will it happen? At the latest, 2026. I believe NASCAR said that they have until September 1st this year to announce that, hey, we're going to be racing for 2026. Now, if hypothetically NASCAR and Honda come together, how will the process work? Will they do it like Toyota did? Because with Toyota, I believe they entered NASCAR, I think in 2004, 2005 with the Truck Series before making their move to Cup in 2007. Would Honda do that? Start in trucks with their, I think it's their Ridgeline truck before moving up to Cup in maybe 2028 with their Accord car or Civic car. How will this whole process work? Another thing you have to think of is, well, if Honda's joining NASCAR, what are the teams going to be? Now, one team that has always been brought up is Stewart-Haas Racing. SHR and Ford, the team is in shambles. I mean, ever since 2021, the team has just been, and now when you look at their driver lineup, ain't no way in hell any of them, I think, are going to make the playoffs or be anywhere near the playoffs. Harvick definitely has back pain for carrying that team for as long as he did. So with SHR, making bold moves, I mean, when they went to Dodge, or at least Tony Stewart Racing went to Dodge for his NHRA program, could he be making some type of switch and go to Honda? That's a possibility, but I've also heard people say, hey, what about Trackhouse? Trackhouse, I think, is a team that likes to be bold and innovative. They did it with MotoGP, and Justin Marks has said that he is interested in going to IndyCar. If IndyCar and Honda, if Honda does stay with IndyCar and also go into NASCAR, Trackhouse would not be surprised if they make the jump over to the Honda team. Because let's be honest, with them being with Chevrolet, they're playing second fiddle to Hendrick and RCR. They're the third tier team. They're not in the top 2 league. Them going to Honda would make them number 1. Also, maybe what if with Andretti? Andretti currently fields Honda engines, Honda cars in the IndyCar series. Granted, with Formula One, they have a deal with Cadillac, but again, if, let's say, Honda does stay with IndyCar and Andretti is interested in going into NASCAR, pairing up with Honda could be a possibility. So a lot of things are moving. A lot of pieces are moving with NASCAR at the moment. It's a very interesting time in the sport, but NASCAR and Honda, that's always something that just keeps popping up. When you think of a fourth manufacturer, it's always Honda, Honda, Honda. Even if it's rumors of a potential fourth, it's always Honda that's the forefront. And it's been going like this for years. And I don't want to be optimistic and make myself look stupid, but at this point in time, there's a lot of smoke that's building up in the moment. And you know what they say, when there's smoke, there's fire. And I think there is starting to be a lot of smoke that's building up with NASCAR and Honda. Eventually, I think we could be seeing fire down the line. But those are my stories. What are your thoughts? Leave them in the comment section down below. Again, head over to homefieldapparel.com, also in the description down below, and get your Hendrick Motorsports merch. Again, I'm telling y'all need to cop this, the shirts, the hat, or the jacket. You're going to love it. Until next time, my name is Jett from MDK. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.